Good, doing good. Um, so the vets, they reported today, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement down there. I think all the guys, they had really good off seasons. They all looked in great shape. Came in exactly how you would expect them to. So yeah, they're really excited. We're really excited to get going. I think definitely build off the momentum from last year and put the work in. Go earn it and go have some fun doing it. I know all the guys are excited down there and they're ready to get rolling. I'll start with like a few transactions. So this will be today. So non-football injury, Bobby Brown, he was working out. He hurt his hamstring a little bit, so I don't really have a timeline on it, but hopefully he's back sooner than later. All you guys know about J.C. Horn cutting his toe. That's doing good. I think that'll be a matter of days, so nothing long-term there. Everybody knows physically unable to perform would be Icky and Turk Wharton. You guys know about their injuries. They're both doing really well, attacking the rehab process, looking really good, making a lot of progress, so we're really pleased with where they're at. Non-football illness, Taylor Moton, all you guys know about that as well. Doctors are taking really good care of him. He's doing great. He's in a good place, being well taken care of. He's going to be around the team. He's got a lot of support from, in the building, teammates, doctors, so he's doing really well. And then we waived non-football injury Jalen Gilbo, who was an undrafted rookie that we had. So that's all the transactions. With that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Just to clarify, Jalen isn't waived. He's waived with like an injury designation?
Yeah, it's a non-football injury.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if he were to clear waivers, he would go back to the NFI, or is he not subject to waivers?
Yeah, he wouldn't be. Yeah, he wouldn't be on our roster. Yeah.
In regards to Turk, I know you don't want to say a timeline, but what positive signs have you seen from him during his rehab time?
Yeah, he's making progress every single day. Of course, I don't have a timeline on it. The neck injuries, you got to be really careful with them, and he knows that, we're going to look out for his health first and foremost. But he's doing really well, making a lot of progress, and we feel optimistic about him getting back, during the season at some point, hopefully sooner than later.
I know it's a different training staff, but what did you learn about the DJ Wanham situation with the blood clots that kind of gives you perspective with Taylor?
Yeah, those things they're scary, and I think when you talk about those type of things and any injury, the player's health is the most important thing to us. You can throw the football to the side, at that point. So we were just concerned about him, and he's in a good place, doing really well now, which we're really happy about, obviously. So he's in good spirits.
Could you tell us how the JC injury happened, and then how you guys, or how Taylor discovered his situation?
Yeah, I think JC was just, running. I don't think he had shoes on. He'll be able to probably explain it to you a little better when you talk to him. But, just cut his toe a little bit. Got some stitches in the toe. Nothing that's really a big deal that's going to keep him out. Nothing we're concerned about. And then who's the other?
How did Taylor's situation develop, and how did he become aware of it, and you guys?
Yeah, I think like right there at the end of June, we, I got a call about it, and you can talk to him a little more in detail about the whole situation and how it transpired. But once we heard about it, we obviously, our doctors took good care of him, and we attacked it quickly. They did a great job, and again, he's in a really good place right now.
How do you anticipate handling that right tackle position?
Yeah, I think, Coach Canales will talk to you tomorrow, but I'll just kind of lay the groundwork a little bit. Monroe is going to be at right tackle. We're going to leave Rashid at left tackle. We have Stone Forsyth. We just re-signed Brady Christensen, who can play both sides. We got some undrafted rookies that we're excited about, so I think we'll be covered there. We feel good about it, and I know T-Mo will definitely support Monroe there at right tackle and teach him all he knows. So yeah, we feel good about it.
And how daunting to go into camp and the season actually without your starting two tackles from last year?
Yeah, I think that's why I think depth, it matters so much in this league. And drafting Monroe and taking the best player available, it happened to be a tackle. Worked out really well for us. So we feel really good about him. We're confident in him, and I know he's going to attack it, and he's going to be out there competing.
It appeared like you guys were going to bring him along slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And, Dave talked about that during OTAs and minicamp. What are the challenges that he's going to face, you guys as an offense, as that development gets expedited?
Yeah, he's a rookie. He's going to go out there. Nothing's perfect, and nothing's perfect with veteran guys either. So I know what Monroe's made of. He's a competitor. He's super smart. He's going to go out there. He's going to attack this thing, and we have full confidence in him.
Dan, when you
Those guys still playing. Jordan came in as a rookie, left tackle all his career, starts on the right that first year. What's the biggest thing about that switch from one side to the other from your standpoint, and how do you think Monroe's equipped to handle that?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, it's on the other side. So, you're kicking differently. You're using your post hand is going to be a little different than it is on the left side. So there's, some little things that he's going to have to get used to. But, he's a young, moldable rookie, a guy that's going to come in here. He's coached really well by Joe Gilbert. Joe will do a great job with him. We have full confidence in him. We have full confidence in Monroe, and they're going to attack it together. And I know Monroe's going to put the work in, and I feel good about it.
Dan, with the injuries you got on the defensive line, what type of feedback have you gotten from coaches and maybe veteran players about Lee Hunter from OTAs and heading into the summer?
Yeah, a lot of good feedback. Just talking to some of our starting linemen that went against him. Obviously, we're not in pads during OTAs and minicamp and stuff like that, but definitely got a lot of good feedback on how strong he is, how physical he is. He's quick off the ball. He's quicker than you think. He's more mobile than you think. So a lot of good feedback, and another young rookie that we're excited about. Looking forward to seeing him compete out there.
Dan, do you got an update on Icky? I know you guys kind of been, haven't really given a date when beginning of the season, middle of the season, end of the season. Is there anything you can help us with?
Yeah, I don't have an update on that. What I will say is Icky's really attacked this. He's in a really good place. The doctors are, the training staff, the doctors, they're really feeling good about where he's at right now. It's just a credit to Icky and who he is, attacking this rehab, not putting his head down and sulking. He's attacked it head on, and really proud of him and where he's at right now.
To say that you have some optimism that he might play this season?
Yeah, there's definitely some optimism. Again, timeline-wise, I don't have that, but we'll see where it goes.
And you mentioned Taylor was going to be able to be around. How important is that? Is his presence here, and how important has it been for this team? Sort of that consistency.
Yeah, he's a veteran guy that, he bleeds Panther blue. He's a guy that, having him around, even if he's not out there playing, he's invaluable for Monroe, to be in the room with him, to talk to him, to be out on the practice field with him and talk him through things, and just give him teaching lessons on what it's like to be a rookie and the challenges, and it's bigger than football, if you want to say, just life lessons that he can kind of give him.
Cooks in the kitchen when it comes to the receiver room. How do we feel about the offseason work from Xavier and Chris Brazel and guys like that?
Yeah, really good. Really proud of Xavier, the way he's attacked this offseason. He's in great shape right now. Just really excited where he's headed. He's in a great headspace. He's looking forward to going out there competing, and I'm looking forward to seeing him out there competing as well. Same thing with Chris Brazel. He's really attacked this offseason as well. Just working out hard every day. Looks great right now. Is in great shape. Just looking forward to the competition out there in general with every position group. I think there's going to be a lot of competition.
Dan, did you have to, speaking of Leggett, he lost his job, I guess, last year, you can say. Did you have to sit down and talk with him and give him a vote of confidence at any point, or talk to him about what you're expecting out of him?
I talked to him. I didn't have to give him like a pep talk or anything. Like, Xavier's a competitor. Xavier wants to be great. He's put the work in to be great. We have confidence in him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him out there compete.
About him earlier, but we all know Brady can play all 5 spots. What were those conversations like to still keep him in the mix and stay in touch, and obviously bring him back now and kind of have a lot more depth now just given these injuries?
Yeah, Brady's versatility, it's huge. He can play all 5 spots. Talking with him and communicating him just throughout the process, talking to him last season, talking to him throughout the off season. We did a really good job of staying in touch with him, and when the time that he did get healthy, we felt like, hey, let's go get this guy. Let's bring a guy in that we know can play high-level football at any of those positions. So it was really an easy thing to do.
Recently retiring, did that come out of left field to you guys? Is there a plan to bring in a 4th quarterback just to have somebody to kind of take some of the reps off of Haynes in the preseason games?
Yeah, no plans right now to bring a 4th guy on, but obviously wish Will and his family the best. In terms of his career, just playing as long as he did, and just wish him the best moving forward.
Dan, you have largely resisted stating expectations prior to seasons, but with the fact that the Panthers hosted their first playoff game in 10 years, is it possible to resist expectations going into this year, do you think?
Yeah, we're never going to shy away from expectations. We have high expectations ourselves, in the locker room, in the building. Our ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl, to bring a championship back here to the Carolinas, in this city, and in this building, a Super Bowl trophy. So, yeah, we're not shying away from any of that. We have high expectations ourselves. We're going to hold ourselves to a high standard, and we're going to go earn it. And you earn it by going every day in training camp, every practice, giving it your all, getting better every single day. And our players, they're ready to go.
In years past, you guys have kind of shelved Andy during some practices, some of the preseason. What are your expectations for how you're going to use Kenny, especially now that you only have 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think that's probably a better question for Coach Canales when you talk to him tomorrow. I'm sure Coach is going to want to play him, but you should probably talk to him about that tomorrow.
Piggybacking on Alex's questions, this is a franchise that hadn't had a ton of playoff appearances over the years, and not a ton back-to-back. How important will it be to kind of capitalize and roll forward with last year's momentum that really energized this fan base?
Yeah, I don't know that we have our goals. I think I stated that, like, we want to win the division. We want to win a championship. Like, that's the ultimate goal. But we're really focused on what's in front of us, and camp's in front of us right now. This is where you go earn it right now. And our players know that, our building knows that we got to put the work in. If we want to get to where we want to go, we got to put the work in, and that's what we're going to do here in training camp.
Last question.
You and Brant, Dave, have all been, have said, we're taking this thing slowly, we're building for the future, we're not going to, try and build too fast, and we're just, what gives you the most optimism that things are headed in the right direction when you look at the roster, when you look at things, or what gives you the most?
Yeah, I think if you look at our roster, I feel like our depth has gotten a lot better. Our talent has gotten a lot better. And I think the culture in the locker room and in the building, I think, is in a really good place right now. We're headed in a really good direction. But like I said, like everybody in the building knows that if we're going to get to where we want to go, we got to go earn it every single day out there on the practice field. We got to put the work in. We got to do the extra. Our players know that. Our staff knows that. And we're ready to go and attack it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Good to see you guys. Yeah. See you guys.
are you? Great. Yep, everybody's good in my world.
I know you took some of the younger guys out there to train with you this offseason. What did you notice about some of those guys, and how important was that bonding for you as a leader?
I think it was just a big part of trying to band our group and our room together, or our whole D line together, and just having guys willing to want to come and work out. I mean, that's all it takes. And then you're able to go out, get a good session, and just continue and getting that continuous work in. I mean, that was the whole thing about probably going into a hot camp, one of the hottest I've been here. So I mean, it's going to be one of those things where getting out in the heat was a huge part of working. So I mean, it's just getting out and do what we do.
What have you noticed about Lee Hunter early?
I mean, he's willing to learn, right? I mean, he's willing to work hard, willing to learn, and that's all you can ask from him.
Today, you mentioned it being a hot camp. Obviously, something you're preparing for. But outside of that, what are the vibes as the vets reported?
I mean, I think everybody's the tone's already been set. Like it's just this is what we want to be able to take these 90 guys and go out here and put something special on tape, and we know what it takes to be able to go through. It's going to be a hard camp. We know that, and to be able to have better results than what we had last year. I mean, that's always the goal entering this thing.
Derrick, time flies, right? You're one of the more tenured guys now. It's 6 years, but first 5 years you didn't make the playoffs. Last year you get to the playoffs. What gives you, excitement about the momentum? You guys are headed in the right direction.
I always feel like it's one of those things where we all come in here with the same goal. All 32 teams come in with the expectation to win a division and win your single division and then go to the Super Bowl, right? So I mean, I think it's one of those things where you got it. What you do in camp is the separating factor, right? Like if you're one of those guys where I feel like for us, I think honestly it's the consistency level, right? We need to be consistent in the things that we did well last year, but then also be able to improve on the things that we didn't do well last year. But I mean, it's always like it's a whitewash. It's like we getting ready to start all over again and get back to square one.
Derrick,
Is there a time during camp where you can kind of get a sense of how the season is going to go?
Absolutely not. No time during camp to tell how the season's going to go. I think camp's one of those things that's it's so hard that it pushes you to put you in the mindset of being in the worst position during the season, and then seeing how you respond to adversity. That's a big part of it.
Last year, you guys made a jump defensively from the bottom up to I think 20, 22, something like that. With you guys returning healthy and the additions you've made, where do you think the ceiling is for this defense this year?
I think the ceiling's high for us. I don't want to call out a number or none of that, but I think the ceiling's high. Finding the 11 to 15 guys that contribute or probably at this point it's 22 guys rolling in on a Sunday on just defense. I think it's one of those things of buying into what Ian, the coach staff, is preaching during the off season, from OTAs, and which we've already done, and then going through camp and just relearning that stuff. But I mean, just trying to go out and have flawless efforts. It's like I said, it's the consistency game, right? Every single week, whoever shows up and is the most consistent throughout the game is the team that's going to win.
When they signed Jalen Phillips, did you watch tape on him to get kind of a feel for what he did for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and all those guys and how it kind of upped their game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen's a great edge. So I'm excited to be able to just get the chance to play with him. I mean, of course we have those, where you got to learn each other, right? Not just Jalen. I think it goes from, me and him, and then Nick, and then, I'm learning three, four guys across the board trying to figure this thing out. We don't know Turk's situation yet, so that's one of those things where I'm playing with new guys beside me, and it's my job to be able to not only do my job at a high level, but be able to figure out what's going on around me, other guys' tendencies, and figure out when I can do what I do.
You at the point in your career where if like a guard kind of messes up or a center kind of messes up against you, will you go and kind of talk them through stuff just on the opposite side of the ball and just kind of give them tips like, hey, this is what I would do?
Practice. I thought you were talking the game. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I don't know. No, yeah. I mean, just anything I see, whether it's Chandler Zavala or Dame or Rob, I tell them what I see. Right, we have those conversations walking down the hill right after practice, because sometimes they get me, I'm like, what'd you see? And then they'll tell me what they saw, and then I'll tell them what I saw from my view. And, I think that's just one of those things where, that's iron sharpens iron, and that's every single day. I love going against, Rob, Dame, Luke, all those guys on the inside. Like, I think it's funny too. Like, we signed guys and like Rasheed and, played against them in the game. And I think, just being able to have the vantage point from, I look at it as once you were an enemy, now you're a friend. And, it's one of those things of where, he can just tell me the things he saw and, the things I saw from him.
Along those lines, Monroe Freeling's timeline's going to be sped up a lot now because of Taylor. And I know you probably didn't go against him in the spring, but did you get a chance to see his game at all? And do you think, how confident are you that he'll be able to step in quickly?
I think, the biggest thing for Monroe, being a guy that was put into the system day one and, having to play and try to be efficient, not very much back then, but I think the biggest thing for Monroe is going to be absorbing the coaching and taking in the coaching and not letting the outside noise get to him, right? Like, we all know this is a different league, and just being able to lean on like Timo, Icky, Rasheed, all the guys that have done it, right? Like, that have been through the trials and tribulations. Like, we wish him the best, right, in this experience that he's about to go through. But I mean, it's one of those things where I think he'll be ready to play come September when we step on the field.
I got off of your answer. My apologies on that. Derrick, like you mentioned, Turk Wharton, we don't know what his status is going to be moving forward. Nashawn's not back this season. You have a lot of young guys around you. Do you feel more pressure to lead that group and lead the interior of that defense when you don't have some veteran guys beside you?
Nah, man. I mean, pressure's what you make it. And I mean, like I said, the pressure situations come during camp, right? Like, the first day we go pads, that'll be a pressure situation, right? That'll be a chance for, to learn what a guy's got, but then also see where they're going to be able to expand to, right? So the preseason games, I mean, those are the things, those are the times in which you figure out. And I mean, because obviously the goal is to go out and win every single game, but there's no dent on the stat sheet or in the win column when you get ready to go out and do it in a preseason game. So I don't think it brings any more pressure. I think it's just one of those things where, this is my time to learn the guys in my room to learn what I do, and then, just go from there.
Along those lines, what have you learned about those guys in the room who are going to be stepping into bigger roles, at least in the short term?
I mean, all we ask for in the room is to show up and, be selfless, right? To be selfless and, get ready to go out here and work hard, right? Coach Walsh is going to push us to the limit outside of practice, and, that just is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, if you come in here and you're selfless and you don't think you're bigger than anybody else in the room, I mean, I think that just – then you got guys that are willing to want to work with you, right? Like, if something goes wrong in practice, like, yeah, man, I got 10, 15 minutes. Let's knock this out, And then just to be able to see guys just to continue to climb and climb and climb, I mean, that's all I ever get out of the joy of this game.
Have you seen that out of particular guys throughout the spring?
Spring's a funny time, right? Shorts and T-shirt is not real football. So, I mean, you see guys, work harder, so you say it like that. But, I mean, as far as the football goes, shorts and T-shirt never really simulates what it is, so.
There seemed to be a lot of off-the-field camaraderie built this offseason, the trip to Mullins, you bringing the guys together. I also could see bowling outings and stuff like that. Did there seem to be an uptick in that this offseason? And then if so, how do you think that'll help, heading into training camp?
I think that the outside of the thing has always been a thing. I mean, less social media. I mean, that's the younger guys now. They don't mind that. So, I think it's just one of those things where, I think the camaraderie was built back in OTAs, getting to learn guys. And I think everybody today on the report day, I mean, it was time to, when we went outside and did the conditioning test, the message is simple. Like, this is phase one. Like, we got to get to it. I think they said, like, we got 9 practices before we're here to go to the Hall of Fame game. And, it's just one of those things where, like, it runs up on you so fast that, like, now you got to do those things. But, like, that's why we were working in the summer and, just hanging out and just doing all those different things so we could just, enjoy the moment now, right? Like, we got to have the fun. Now it's time to enjoy the work.
I asked JC and Mike Jack what the biggest misconceptions are with Ejiro Evera's defensive scheme, especially for people that are not playing in it. To you, what is the biggest misconception regarding Coach Evera?
I think people think it's simple. It's not. Every single week, right? The advantage is to the coach that comes in and changes what you're doing, because we all know it's a copycat league, right? So when you struggle one week with something, the next team is trying to exploit that. And, I think it's one of those things where every single week we come in, like, he's got a plan. And, I think as players, right, we always say, like, in this business, you coworkers, right? Like, obviously coaches, the hierarchy of this, but at the same time, like, we gear to come in every single week. He relays the message to us, and he entrusts us to get to that point before Saturday and Friday that we know what's going on. So yeah, the defense has its complications, but at the same time, like, it's no more complicated than any other defensive system. And I think it's just about, executing as a player.
How would you describe Cam Jackson's game?
Cam's a big dude. Cam's a big dude in the middle. And, I'm really hoping that, he has the opportunity to take this next step and, make this opportunity what it is for him. Like I said, it's hard to tell in the spring, shorts and T-shirt. You can't really grab shirts. So, and the contact's limited. So, I think for this fall, it's going to be a big camp for him.
You mentioned this is going to be a hard camp. Obviously, it's going to be a longer camp. What are the other particular challenges of it, and do you think there'll be more vet days built in? Get you the starting line, in a good spot.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this, but I don't really miss many days of practice, so I don't know how that whole vet thing works out at all. So, I've been one to fight that. But it's like, I say it's a hard camp because it's the next challenge in front of us, really, right? Like, we all know when you show up here at the end of July, like, it's time to work, right? You go from having to be able to do what you want to do all day, spending time with in my situation, spending time with my family, sitting out by the pool yesterday afternoon till now, I'm in here running wind sprints in the middle of the day. So, I think it's just, I'm saying it like that because, it's our next challenge in front of us. And, I think it's going to be what the core of this team is.
Fight vet days, like, do they come to you and say, "I want to give you a vet day," and you say, "No, I'm going to practice"?
Most of the time. No, there's some days.
Why is that important to you?
I believe being on the field with the guys is super important. I think just even like getting ready for the week, right? Like, it's harder, right? Like, I'm 28, right? Like, I'm not 30 plus. So, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes, of course, people need them every now and again, but it's one of those things where, I pride myself with being on the field.
Last one.
Luke Luke's going into the Hall of Fame a couple weeks here. I know you guys kind of miss each other, but when you were coming in as a rookie, he decided to retire. How surprised were you at that point, and what was his legacy in that defensive room after he left?
Funny story. I was in I think it was January or February. We went to Walter Camp, and I actually was sitting next to Luke at the dinner, and we were talking for a long time, and just kind of chatting it up, and then in April, or I think he retired. He retired before the draft, I believe, and then like I got picked to come to the city right after, but I was like, that time it was just actually insane. I think definitely just kind of with him being around the building and, just the tidbits and like, him being on the plane and like after a loss, whatever, he'll be like, he'll say certain things and like, you just kind of take him. Like, you just like, hey, like, y'all need to shake back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, like Brandon's already transitioned to the next week. And, I think just, especially for his knowledge of the game, like, he'd probably sit in the box and tell you exactly what's going on, right? Like, not all defense linemen are doing that, but, just being able to say, like, what'd you see? And then him give you an answer. I think that's a big part of, and I'm glad that we have him around here for that.
Thanks, Derrick.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. This is nice.
Asked Dan Morgan about the feedback he's gotten from veterans who've gone up against Lee Hunter and worked with Lee Hunter. I know you guys weren't wearing pads, but what did you notice about him kind of from the jump?
He's very stout. Plays the run really, really well, especially for a guy that hasn't played at this level. It didn't look like a rookie to me. And OTAs, obviously we didn't have pads on, but you can still tell without pads. I think so anyways. And I think he plays the run really, really well. Better than I've probably seen a rookie in a long time.
Speaking of rookies, you know about the injury to Taylor Moton.
Yep.
Can you tell us, how you feel about that and how you discuss that as a room? And then Monroe Freeling will step in, and what do you expect from him?
It's unfortunate for Timo. I was really excited to come back and play with him. I love playing beside Timo. One of the better right tackles in this league. Just an unfortunate thing that happened to him. But he'll be back before you know it, and we'll get going again. But I'm excited for Monroe. To have a chance to come out day one and compete for a job is special. I think he have all the physical tools to do that. He's young, so I expect him to fire off the ball with an attitude. So I'm excited to work with him. I'm excited to see what we can do.
How hard is that learning curve coming in as an offensive lineman and a rookie, coming into that starting role?
I got a thing that I go by. I never judge rookies because I know how hard it is. I know how hard this league is. I think you only get better with real reps. Obviously, practice is cool, but I think you get better with game reps. And that's kind of the situation he's in now. But, he got 5 out there. He got Pat Jones. He got some other guys, Nick Scored, that he get to go against every day that'll get him ready. And I'm going to challenge him to, be ready. So I think he'll be ready.
Staying on Monroe, what indications has he given you that he is ready for this moment, that he is ready for this?
We talked about it. We both trained here over the summer, and we mentioned it a little bit when we heard the news, kind of talked about it briefly. And, I think he's ready. He texted me the other day when he actually found out that it was going to be him. He texted me, and he said some things to me, and I said some things to him, and I'm excited to work with him.
What is the message in the room that you're voicing or that others are voicing, trying to overcome the loss of both starting tackles from last year?
I think just obviously we got new guys here, and that's kind of different than what we had last year. But as you've seen last year, there's a lot of guys playing everywhere. And I think for the most part, the group in general, the core, still kept the main thing. I think it's going to be the same deal today and throughout camp and through the first couple games is we got to keep the main thing. That's protecting the quarterback, that's running the football, and that's helping us win games. So that's kind of going to be what the message is. At the end of the day, the guys that got the opportunity to play, it's the opportunity to play. So, we'll do with that as we need.
You mentioned a lot of the returning faces, a lot of the new faces. How important was it in this offseason to build up that camaraderie and that trust amongst each other?
That was good. We still got some work to do. Obviously, OTAs, but now we get real bullets. We get other teams, and we get preseason games to play with each other and communicate, talk the same language, and that's kind of what we're going to do. And that starts today, and we're excited to do it.
Rob, you pushed back to come back from your injury late last season. How are you feeling with the offseason rehab?
I feel good. Obviously, still some things that I want to get better at within that injury, but I feel good. I feel strong. I feel like I can compete.
What value do you find in joint practice?
I guess they make the calls, whoever above me and everybody else, and we get the job done. So whatever they find value in, that's kind of what we do. And I'll show up and I'll compete, and I'll be happy doing it.
Would you prefer preseason over joint practices?
Preseason games, playing in them. I like playing football. I love the game of football. The game of football that we play, I love it. So I love Sundays. If it's a Saturday, I love a Saturday. I love a Monday. So if a game come, I'd rather play the game. Not preseason, but I love games. The value is I guess you get to get more work with different teams, different bodies, which is fun because camp is a boring thing, but it's what you need. Life is always good when you're bored. You know what I mean? So once you get bored, you go get other people, more people, and you kind of compete in different ways. You get a little more energy, and you go that way, I guess. And I don't know. I don't really know what the value is of it, but I've been doing it for a little while now, and I don't really mind it, so it is what it is.
Rob, there was a concerted effort by the union last week to speak about artificial turf after the grass was brought in for all the World Cup. But your feelings on that topic and kind of how the grass was brought in for those games?
Yeah, this shows that it can be done, right? It can be done. I am a fan of playing on grass. I play on turf. Obviously, we have turf out here, but as a player, I probably prefer grass. I think a lot of us probably do too. I mean, it's again, it's above my pay grade. So the people that make the call on that, they make the call. But I will say loudly and proudly that I am a fan of playing on grass.
Rob, what are you guys doing as a room to kind of support Taylor during his injury recovery?
I think Taylor's at a good spot. He's a guy been doing this a while, and he kind of know what it is. When we first found out, I mean, obviously he was just we hung out a little bit this over the offseason. So he told me, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. He understands that he'll be back and he'll be ready when it's time. But he's been playing football like a lot. I don't think he ever missed like many games honestly here. So it'll be new to him. We'll see how he reacts. But I mean, obviously he knows we got his back, and we'll tell him that. But I think he's in a good place.
Rob, last year when you were out, it seemed like you were around the group and the team a lot, and it sounds like Dan was saying he's already expecting to see that out of Timo as well, too, that he's around. What can you kind of explain from what you went through, like how you're able to help by not playing but still being around your group throughout the season?
All right, so me and Timo are two different people, and he have a different personality than I have. So I'm a little, when it comes to football especially, I was around, I was being me, just being who I am, giving my presence. That's what it is. You need my help, I'll help you. The other day we were out here and we were practicing. This ain't even like, this is beyond, this is summertime. We don't have to be here. There's no schedule, nothing. And we're out there, we're going, and we do this like a little indie drill. And the rookies are doing their deal. And he's yelling at them. He's on a bike. Get down, get lower. You need to be lower than that. You need to be, and I'm like, okay. So they can be ready for him to be low-key kind of coaching from the sideline. He'll be very into it. Timo will be here every day coaching like he's a coach. So we'll see that part of him.
When you're next to a guy who's maybe not particularly loud calling protections, or you're next to a guy who needs the protections kind of given to them, down the line, what's your approach to that? Like communication on the line when the protections are being called and you're trying to figure out what you guys are doing as a unit as opposed to just what your job is?
I think the biggest thing is for all of us is, like I said, the message I sent with Monroe is communication. So everything we got to do, and that's all five of us communicate. If we're on the same page, we'll be all right. We got a chance. Even if we're wrong, but if we're all going the same direction wrongly, we got a better chance than somebody going this way and somebody going this way. So it's all about communicating. We'll let that start with whoever's calling the play. That go down to Bryce. That goes to the center. He makes the mic. Once the center makes the mic, me and Damien, that's how they think inside out. Hey, he said the mic is here. That's what I do. Hey, mic is here. And then we go from there. We kind of know our jobs from there. But, yeah, just communicating, everybody on the same page, over-communicate, especially early on. They're going to know what we're doing tomorrow. You know what I mean? They're going to know. We do the same shit. And that's the thing about playing them every day. But, oops, sorry, guys. Sorry. Dang, I wasn't even trying to do that. I wasn't trying to do that. But, yeah, it's us been on the same page. That's kind of what it is.
Next to you, though, like, is there like a necessary over communication?
No, I expect Monroe. I think he's a smart kid. I know he is a smart kid to know kind of what to do, and that's what it is. So we just go, whatever center says, I'm going to communicate exactly what I always do. Communicate where we're going and how we're going. And that's that. And then I told him yesterday, whatever you need from me, just let me know. Just communicate to me exactly what you need, and I'll communicate to you exactly what I need. And that's how we're going to work. Yeah, that's how we're going to make this thing work for the first 5 weeks.
Rob, you guys are already back in the building, just a guy that can play all 5 spots. Just how crucial is that just to have an extra depth piece? And how would you describe him as a teammate, having him back in the building?
That was huge, man. That was huge adding Brady back because Brady can play all 5 positions, and he can play all 5 positions at a high level, I believe. So he know the language. He know everything. It's like he just took him a little, he probably took a couple extra golf days, you know what I mean? So he was just hanging out, doing his thing, getting ready, and he brought him in, and we didn't skip a beat, man. That's Brady. Brady is a part of us. He's been a part of us for the last 3 years since I've been here. He's been here for 6 years. So yeah, Brady's Brady. Brady's excited, and I'm excited for Brady. And one thing I know about him, he works hard. He looks amazing. He's always looks amazing. So yeah, it's huge to have him back because, especially with the 2 guys going out, we know for sure Brady can probably step in and play somewhere.
Describe the vibes today heading in the game.
It's good. Everybody's excited to be here, shaking hands, smiling, nodding, just being who we are. We did that conditioner deal. Vibes are high. We all know what's at stake. We all know what we got to do, so we're all excited.
Thoughts on a camp that's 4 games long, 2 joint practices.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to go through it. I'm excited for the grind of camp. Man, I feel like I haven't played football in a year, honestly. So I'm excited to get back in my head to let myself know that I am good at this game. So it'll be fun. I'm excited for it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Rob. All right, guys.